Good evening. Welcome to the Toon review. Tonight it's a night off from the transfer rumours and stuff. We have a daunting task ahead of us tomorrow with a trip to Anfield, and tonight we preview it with a Liverpool supporter, Doug from the Dugout channel here on the Toon review. Good evening. Welcome to the Toon review. Myself and Alex are here tonight to preview the Liverpool game alongside a Liverpool supporter who will join us presently. We've also got the press conference to go through as well. Eddie Howe's press conference today, and later maybe some latest links also. Paul's not with us again tonight. He's kind of going around the West Midlands Fire Park being abused by all and sundry animal kingdom by the look of things, but having a great time. But some of the things we've seen are hilarious. So let's take a few comments first. Ali says Wilson, Bruno, ASM all seem to be the ones ruled out for tomorrow, but the short term, Kraft is the only long term with ACL, so 6 to 9 months, and Trips is okay. Yeah, we'll look at the press conference. The injuries we thought might have been worse than what they actually were, didn't we, Alex?
Yeah, he seems pretty confident about Maxi, and Trippier seems fine. We don't know whether Maxi will actually play, but he said we'll monitor it and we'll see if he's fit to play or not. So, and I mentioned to you just before we started that his comments were inconsistent about whether Bruno was definitely out or not out, because he mentioned he'll sit out a few games and then sort of suggested, well, we'll see if he can pull through and is fit enough. Kind of, he said a few different things that suggested both possibilities. So, I would generally believe he's probably not going to play, but I think maybe it was just muddled his words. Maybe, not sure.
Yeah, and he also mentioned the Alexander Isak's fees are still not coming through. We do have a bit of time left. I mean, we've got till 75 minutes before kickoff, but taking quite a while, isn't it, for this thing to come through?
Yeah, it's a joke. It's absolutely ridiculous. As Casemiro's came through immediately, I appreciate that it's procedure and it's bank holiday. I don't care. I don't care. I guarantee that I'm pretty sure Man United play Leicester. I think on Thursday. I think they play on deadline day, don't they? So I guarantee Anthony's work permit will be done by then. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. They'll probably fast track that. I mean, if it's not, then I'll eat my words. But no other clubs seem to have any issues with this. I think there was a few lower league clubs had issues, but it's just frustrating.
It is indeed. Jules in the house, the queen of the mods. Good evening, all. Welcome show. Some love. Click the likes, the thumbs up, and subscribe on the road to 14k. Join our Toon review family. That's correct. If you're new to the channel, this is like the first one you've seen of us. Give us a subscribe, and also hit the like button. And also super chats are available too by clicking the $sign. And you can also become a member of the channel and join the Toon review. Massive family that we are accumulating. 14k is almost upon us, so that's fantastic. Rachel's also in the house; she's also a mod, and also Gary's in too. So all the mods are there. Chez is also there, also. So we're well supported by the mods tonight. Everyone's saying hello to each other. Pilo Keith says, evening all. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think it'll be a real tough test for us. We'll be over the moon with a draw. It's a shame, though, isn't it, Alex? Because I mean, if we could go these at full strength, Liverpool aren't exactly blessed for no injuries at all, are they? They've got quite a few injuries also. We'll discuss this with Doug afterwards, but in a bit later. But yeah, it's just
I think
a shame,
isn't it? A few come back just in time to be too strong for us, possibly. We could have done with playing their midfield from last week, which, consisted of Milner, Henderson and Elliott, and they really struggled. I think it's just the chips have just fallen in an unlucky way for us. If we had the same squad available as we did against City, then I think we could even push for 3 points for the first time in a very long time. But I think the way it's just happened with injuries, and they've had a few come back it's going to be a bigger ask, to be fair, to get points. But I'm sure we'll try our best.
Indeed. Anything else mentioned at the press conference? Anything to do with transfers? I haven't seen anything about it. I think you mentioned. I think Luke Edwards kind of misquoted him, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I think he said something about. I think Luke Edwards put on Twitter about only going for loans. I don't want to misquote Luke Edwards because I can't remember exactly what he said, but what he wrote isn't what I heard Eddie Howe say with my ears. I interpreted it slightly differently. It wasn't just going to be the loan market, but he was suggesting we weren't going to be heavily involved. There wasn't going to be any big activity. That doesn't mean there's not going to be any normal activity. So I don't think it's just necessarily loans. I think it depends what's available. They might throw a transfer fee out there. It just depends. But he said he was happy with the. He says we've got a strong squad. It's only short-term injuries. This is what he's come out and said. So, but I think it's clear we are after a few people, and he's just trying to play it down potentially because there are a lot of links coming out. So, yeah, and he seems pretty optimistic about it. So we'll see how it goes.
Because I think he said Luke Edwards was asking a question about loans or something, and Eddie said, "They're your words, not mine," didn't he? So he kind of took a little bit of the mickey out of him by doing that. But yeah, it's I think we'll still be active. I really do. And of course, we've got a massive marathon day on Thursday. We start at 10 a.m. in the morning and go all the way through to the window closing at 11, and maybe a little bit beyond there because there's usually last minute deals that you're waiting for clearance to go through. So we'll probably be on till midnight if I'm being perfectly honest. But join us for that as much as you can. I appreciate you can't be with us all day, but dip in and out, see what's going on.
I think we're getting Adam P on. We got Rob on. I'm pretty sure as well from Rubenstein. Yep. Lots of guests swapping in and out of hosts all the time and just checking the whole news throughout the whole day. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it will be a good day, especially if we're busy in the transfer market. Also, it could be an exciting one. I mean, I can remember the January transfer window. We were although we didn't really get what we wanted. We were after Lingard, weren't we? But we did bring Dan Bird in on transfer deadline day, didn't we? So yeah,
it was still an exciting day.
It was. Pedro says, looks like Kraft won't be named the 25-man squad, and looks like Mankier will get some games. I hope he shows Eddie how he's worth keeping. Yeah, with Kraft out for 6 to 9 months, no point naming him in the squad.
Yeah, Eddie Howe specifically mentioned Manquillo by name when he was talking about fullback depth. He mentioned Kieran Trippier, although he said Trippier, which is making him French. Kieran Trippier and Javier Manquillo. So, yeah, the fact that he specifically named Manquillo as his next choice right back means that's clearly the pecking order. So that's cleared that up for us. So there's no speculation on that anymore.
No, and the under 21s play tonight, aren't they? They're playing against in that pizza trophy. I don't know how they're getting on at the moment, but
pizza trophy.
The Papa John's thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it still called that? And Liverpool. Sorry, Liverpool. Chelsea have taken the lead at Southampton with the Raheem Sterling goal, and Steve Bruce has equalised at Wigan.
No,
never mind. We've got some comments here. Carl says, even if I think we'll get turned over at Anfield. But onwards and upwards anyway. Great start to the season. Has been a good start to the season, hasn't it? And even if we lose tomorrow, I can get rid of this horrible thing that's really irritating me. Because it's usually gone after the first game of the season. It's a tradition I've had for years. I don't shave until we lose. And this year we've gone further than we usually do. But yeah, there's always a silver lining to every cloud, they say. KBN UFC says, good evening, Billy and Alex. Ready for another enjoyable night of the Toon review. From Belfast, and Alan Little says Newcastle News saying we, and it doesn't. He ends there. The injury list doesn't really hurt them as much as ours because of the drop off in quality. This is true. Paul says serious game for tomorrow. I think 100% tactics and formation needs changed. Playing a counter attack, good time to play them still. As that 9-0 may be deceiving for them. Well, we do have Doug with us, but he's not on camera at the minute, so we'll bring him in a minute. In fact, he's here now. We'll bring Doug in. Welcome to Doug. Doug from the Dugout channel. Hi, mate. First things first, congratulations. Married earlier this last month, wasn't it?
Yeah, two months ago. 2 months ago.
So the Toon review offers our warm congratulations. We've done it on the streams all throughout. Welcome to the channel, mate, and glad you're with us to talk about the game tomorrow. Funny kind of situation Liverpool find themselves in at the moment, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you lose to Manchester United, you draw with Crystal Palace, you draw with Fulham, and then you absolutely spank Bournemouth 9-0.
And lose to Strasbourg in the pre-season.
And lose to Strasbourg, yeah, and lose to Strasbourg as well. It's been a very, very strange start to the season, and I never saw the 9. I don't think anyone saw the 9-0 coming, but I fully expect a really tough game tomorrow because I think Newcastle are vastly improved this season.
Yeah, that could have been even tighter if we'd not had the injuries we've got. But Liverpool aren't kind of short of injuries themselves, are they? What's the news on the midfield? Do we any chance of Thiago being playing tomorrow? Or is he still out?
He's still out. He is still out. Curtis Jones, I think, has returned to training, but I think it could be a little bit too soon for him. Naby Keita, no idea, to be honest with you. So I think you'll probably see the midfield that probably played against Bournemouth. And honestly, I think Harvey Elliott is a bit of a doubt as well. So you may see maybe Fabio Carvalho come in. It could be a bit of a youthful midfield we might see tomorrow.
Yeah, he came on at half time, didn't he? So
yeah, and he looked very good as well.
A youthful midfield compared to what you had a couple of weeks ago is polar opposites, isn't it? With Milner and Henderson and the Man United game. But I was impressed. I've been impressed with Harvey Elliott this season, to be honest. I know he's not a midfield player. I know he's kind of filling in the spaces, but he hasn't let you down, has he, at all? He's looked very good, in fact.
He's probably been our best player. Probably along with Luis Diaz. I think both of them deserve plaudits at the moment. Harvey Elliott especially. I like the celebration as well. Like he said in an interview afterwards that he obviously lost his nan a couple of days ago. So that goal meant the world to him. It was a wonderful finish as well. But I do think that I am hoping Harvey Elliott actually stays match fit this season because I think that Leeds injury was very, very cruel to him because he was actually in a bit of a way of like playing loads and loads of games. And I think this season, hopefully, he's on the road to probably playing week in, week out because at the moment, he's undroppable at the moment.
I mean, at the time when he got his injury, I think he was getting that way then as well, wasn't he? He was playing out of his skin, wasn't he, for such a young lad? And it's quite impressive, actually, the way that Jurgen Klopp brings these youngsters through. Another one that's just coming through now is son of our former favourite, Lee Clark, Bobby Clark. Have you seen much of him, Dougie?
I've not seen. Well, the only time I think he came home was obviously against Bournemouth. But I do sort of tune into the under-21s, and he is a very, very good talent. So he has a big future ahead of him. I'm pretty sure of that.
Right. So, how do you think you'll line up tomorrow then? Let's have a run through your team. Who do you think will be in, and who do you think will be out?
Right. I can give you the missing players as well, just so people know the extent of the Liverpool injuries. Yeah. Kelleher, the backup keeper, is the only one that's a doubt. Nunez is still suspended, and then officially out is Thiago, Curtis Jones, Kanate, Matip, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jota, and Calvin Ramsey. So those are all the ones that are officially out. So I don't think Kelleher coming back and passing a test is going to change the starting 11 though, because it's going to be Alisson. So yeah, they're missing a lot of players.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm actually going to say it'll be the same team that played against Bournemouth. So it'll be obviously Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Henderson, Elliott, and then I think it'll be Salah, Diaz, and Firmino.
And what do you think Liverpool's aim is this year? Because we all have priorities. Is Liverpool heading for the title? They want the Champions League. Is any trophy a bonus for Liverpool this year?
One of the big two, please. One of the big two would be fantastic. But if I'm being honest, it's always the Premier League for me. I know we have started slowly as well, but I think we're in a bit of an uncharted territory considering that the World Cup's in November. I expect a lot of teams to probably drop some unnecessary points somewhere. And you look, obviously, you guys drew with Manchester City, and I thought that was a wonderful game of football because I thought you played them really, really well, and I was gutted when it went to 3-3, but I have to say it was a very, very good result for you guys as well. But yeah, I think there's going to be some games where I think City will drop points. I don't think it's going to be I don't think someone's going to win it with like 90 plus points. I think it might be sort of 85 to maybe 88 this season. I think it's going to be very, very close again. But yeah, for me, Premier League, if not that, then obviously a big run in the Champions League would be fantastic.
And is Klopp under any pressure? I mean, I've seen a few dissenting voices on Twitter from a few so-called Liverpool supporters about Jurgen Klopp. Is he under pressure?
Not for me. I think as well, he has been asked so many questions, obviously, about this midfielder. I mean, we badly need a midfielder, but with the deadline coming, I think on Thursday, 11 o'clock, it's going to be very, very tricky. I mean, midfielders are going to be priced out of our price range as well, which I think is going to be very, very intriguing to see. I mean, we've been quoted, I think, for like, I think I saw something like it was 25 million for like Tielemans, and I think it was like 100 million for Ruben Neves. So it's very, very difficult. Very difficult to get a player in very, very late on. Will we do business? I'm not so sure. But he has been asked a lot in the press conferences recently as well.
Well, £1.79 super chat from Lucas Paqueta. I'm guessing that's Jimmy Jones. Hola, he says. So that's a sign of he's very happy with the sign of Lucas Paqueta. Also coming from Tom, I'll be watching all down deadline day. Looking forward to it. Will you be getting some of us on? Absolutely. The more the merrier. The more of you that we get on, Tom, the less we've got to do, obviously, for 13 hours, 14 hours, whatever long it is. That's our transfer deadline day on Thursday, Doug. So if you want to come on Thursday and have a chat, see how Liverpool are doing business, you're fully welcome.
I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to, mate. Absolutely.
Brilliant. So what have we got Liverpool-wise then? Salah. No, Salah. I've got to tell you this story because Alex loves this. Saturday, predicting that Liverpool are going to have a massive win, and I think a lot of us did. I decided to triple captain Mo Salah. 9 points he got me. 3 open goals missed. Is he okay? Is he having a bit of a rough spell at the minute, Mo Salah?
I mean, everything he did last week against Bournemouth, he just didn't score. He had a few chances. He snatched at a couple. But no, I think he signed a new contract, and I think he will be definitely missing Mane. But we're going to have to get used to, obviously, without Mane now. Diaz has come in, and he's been very, very good. I think a lot of Liverpool fans had a bit of an incentive thinking that, yes, one of the famous front three, obviously Firmino, Mane, and Salah, one of them was probably going to leave this summer. I'm not so sure many people expected Sadio Mane to leave. Maybe they expected maybe Firmino or Salah. So Salah has started a little bit slowly, but I think he will be there or thereabouts, but fighting for that golden boot alongside probably the Hollands and the Harry Kanes.
And the Isaks.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I have to say, I really, really rate Alexander Isak. I think that's a fantastic signing, especially with obviously Callum Wilson and his injury problems as well. But Isak is a fantastic player, so I fully expect him to have a good time on Tyneside. But yeah, Salah, he has started slowly, but I think once he gets up to speed, I think he'll be firing them in probably.
I think the Nunez suspension has definitely hurt Salah slightly. I think it's disrupted the system they were learning to play and had set up for at the back end of pre-season has just gone completely out the window with that 3-match suspension, and it's a bit more makeshift. And the midfield quality drop-off as well probably hasn't helped. I mean, he's still 2 goals in 4 games. That's not throwing toys out of the pram. That's still a goal every second game is still very, very impressive in the Premier League.
It is.
It's only funny. Go on, Doug.
My
fantasy football team. That's what I'm saying.
Just because I triple captain Haaland, that was why.
I just feel sorry for Billy that he's done his triple captain so early in the season. To be honest, I only really do it if it's like a double game week. I don't do it if it's like a single game week or. Like if I see someone like where Salah would usually score against, then yeah, maybe I would probably do that. But I'm not an expert on fantasy football, and I'll honestly admit that. But
I wouldn't worry.
I would. I wouldn't put your triple captain on too soon, at least. But Billy, I am sorry that Salah didn't get the points for you.
I haven't sold him because I know if I sell him, he'll get a hat trick tomorrow. So he's still in my team and he's still captain. Southampton equalised against Chelsea, and Everton lead at Ellen Road 1-0. Anthony Gordon has scored in the 17th minute for them. Right, so how do you think the game will go, Doug? Having watched this season, having watched obviously yourself every week, how do you think the game will go? Will it be a case of us sitting back and hitting you on the break, or do you think it will press you or whatever? Do you think we'll go to our normal ways?
I think you'll press us, to be honest. I've been very, very impressed with what I've been seeing from Newcastle this season. And, I think if, people were saying last season, if you attack City, you can get mistakes out of them. Now, every team has its weak spot. Now, I honestly can see you pressing us at Anfield. I do think you'll keep the ball very well. You are a very, very good passing side as well, but so are we. So I think the middle of the park, that's going to be a very, very good battle. It's then, can you keep us out as well? Nick Pope has been fantastic. And usually when Nick Pope has a game at Anfield, he always has a good game against us. So I fully expect him to have a busy night tomorrow. But I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I think it's going to be a very, very tight one. I don't think we're going to win as much as we did against Bournemouth, but I think Newcastle are much better defensively this time as well.
Yep, I think we are too. It's just a shame that we can't go there at full strength.
I obviously lovely person, lovely channel, but I hate that the top team supporters can say that. I don't think we'll win by as many. It's outrageous that people are allowed to say that at the top of the game, and I can't wait until we close that gap. We did it against City, and I'm really disappointed we've got some injuries because I feel like this was our best chance to get a win at Anfield in years, and it's so frustrating we've got the injuries to players like Bruno, because I think this is our best chance we've had in forever to get 3 points, and I think it's probably not going to happen now. I don't think we've got enough quality to get 3. If we have a blinder, we might get 1 point, but we'll have to have an absolute blinder, as Eddie Howe said in the interview. So we'll see how it goes.
So, Doug, give us a score before we let you go. Give us a score prediction, buddy.
I think there'll be goals. We're not the best defensively, so I'm going to go 3-2.
We're not the best offensively. I won't worry.
I'm going to go. No, actually, funnily enough, I'm going to go 3-2. I think there's going to be goals. I think it's going to be very, very tight. You took the lead last time against us at Anfield. Shelby Shelby, fantastic goal, that one. So
he's broken. Don't worry.
Oh, that is a shame. But I do think that it will be 3-2. I'm going to say you take the lead. We equalise, you go 2-1 up, and then we'll come back and win 3-2.
Sounds like the old days. And then, do you think your fullbacks will be instrumental in that? Trent and Robertson, obviously, 2 fantastic players.
Yeah, Trent for me is very, very good defensively, but as we've obviously seen, he's not the best defensively. So whoever's on that side could have a bit of a feel. Is it Miguel Almiron, I think, usually is on that side? It
should be Maxi, but Alan St. Maximin, but it's unclear whether he's going to play or not, because he felt his hamstring a little bit in the final few minutes the other day, so against Wolves. So it's 50-50 whether he'll start. I think he'll probably be assessed and then maybe have a fitness test. So ideal world, St. Maximin trying to exploit space on Trent, it would be brilliant. But if not, then it's probably going to be Ryan Fraser or a makeshift Jacob Murphy, which is probably a bit easier for Trent to deal with. So we'll see. Miggy's normally on the other side, so that would be Robertson's side because he's play inverted.
Yeah, Robertson's not been the best this season so far. He's quite. I think it's a bit of a thing that he is very, very tired. He has played I think he played in the Nations League for Scotland, so he's not really had much of a break. So don't be surprised if Robbo gets maybe a rest tomorrow and Kostas Tsimikas potentially comes in.
Yeah, he's excellent too, isn't he? Let's be honest. I mean, you don't lose anything in attack with Simicats coming in. But remember last year, Max didn't play on the left, did he? He played through the middle. Remember, Alex? Fraser played on the left.
Of course. Yeah, that was this experiment.
That didn't work.
No, well, of course not. Not with the way. It's just the injuries are really forcing this. Ryan Fraser playing out on the left, if Maxi's injured, is definitely not going to be enough, in my opinion. But I don't know. We've still got. I mean, an interesting stat for you here is Kieran Trippier. Well, we've not lost a game where Kieran Trippier has started yet in the Premier League. So
okay,
if he starts tomorrow, it will be the first time potentially. So we'll see if we can keep that stat going. Every time he starts, we don't lose.
Battle of the England right backs, and could be the battle of free kicks as well. If Trippier and Alexander Arnold go against
just put some respect on Trippier's name. Trent doesn't play right back for England.
Doug, give your channel a shout out, mate. So some of our lads will go over and have a look and give you subscribe.
Yeah, my channel is the Dugout Football channel on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitter at downroad_1992 and Instagram at Douglas.Horn. But thank you very, very much for having me. It is a pleasure, and I will probably see you guys on Thursday for the transfer deadline day as well.
Absolutely.
Indeed. And good luck tomorrow. But
yeah, we wish you all the very best for tomorrow, but mainly for the season.
Not too much luck, yeah.
Not too much luck, yeah. Thanks for joining us, Doug. It's been great having you with us, mate.
My pleasure. See you later. Take care.
Bye, mate. So that was Doug there from the Dugout channel for Liverpool supporter, giving us a very fair and obviously a little bit biased, but very fair appraisal of tomorrow's game. Alex, how do you see us line up tomorrow, mate? I know it's hard to predict this.
Do you want the board, or do you just want my thoughts?
Put the board up. Come on, let's have a look at the board.
Yeah.
I'll do some comments in the meantime.
Paul's just messaged as well, just to remind that the deadline day has been changed to 12 o'clock start, so midday start.
Oh.
I think he's written it in the chat as well, so a few people might have already seen that. But yeah, 12 o'clock, so midday start for deadline day on Thursday.
We get a line in.
There we go. Right, so the board is up. So this is what I've just thrown together. Ignore the numbers for Liverpool; they're not all the correct corresponding numbers. I'm not particularly bothered about getting the opposition numbers right. I'd prefer we got our lads numbers right. So the question is: do we go to a back five, or do we play the same system? Based on the information we've got from interviews from the press conference, I think this is probably the most likely 11. I would prefer a back five because I don't like the drop in quality here for a 4-3-3. I think we're strong enough in a 4-3-3 against not against Liverpool. We tried it last year and we got blown away. So fair enough. I know Mike Dean cheated, but Mike Dean's retired now. So I think he will be brave. Eddie Howe will be brave and stick with the 4-3-3. I don't think he'll play. I'll be surprised if he plays a back five. I could be wrong. It depends. Maybe there is a certain point in injuries where he will resort to a back five. Is this the point we're at? I'm not sure, but judging by experience, I'd imagine he's just going to stick with his preferred formation of the 4-3-3 for us. So the obvious ones are Fraser in for Maxi. Maxi might play. He might play, but he might not. So I would.
This is very much worst case scenario, isn't it?
Indeed. I mean, I think it's going to be a case of a late fitness test and monitor him and see if he plays or not. But we'll see how it goes. So Fraser out on the left doesn't fill me with a ton of confidence. But he had a little spell of reasonably good games last year. So maybe he can give us an hour and put in some good crosses and put in enough work to maybe get some goals or an assist. He's got the quality when he's switched on. So obviously he's not up against the fastest people in the world with sort of Henderson on that side, and Salah will obviously try and be quite high forward, as will Alexander Arnold. Burn or Target, what happens there? Probably, I would imagine he's going to go just back to Target. I would be surprised if Burn starts this at left back again, especially being lined up against Mo Salah. I feel like Salah against Burn would be a bit. I understand that he handled. What's his name again? I forgot him. really, really fast Brighton winger when he came on.
Oh,
His
yeah,
name,
yeah.
his name has, Lamptey. So I appreciate that Burn handled Lamptey for 15 minutes at the end of the Brighton game, but Mo Salah for 90 minutes is a different ball game altogether. So I would expect Target to come back in as the main left back. And then I expect Burn to get dropped. I think it's Botman Shah all day long. It's got to be in Botman Shah. And there's been a ton of debates on Twitter about Botman apparently not being very good. I know I tried to stay in my lane and stay to stats, but what a joke. What a joke of an opinion. I'm sorry. I'm allowed to have my opinions. And I think my opinion is that is a joke. Like, he's been brilliant. His distribution for his age as well. He's been excellent. You know, there's the stats floating around that he hasn't lost an aerial duel yet. I mean, that's incredible. For his age, absolutely exceptional. So it's kind of strong back line with the goalkeeper, with Pope obviously maintaining Dubravka. Bye. Good luck. Not good luck. Some people feel mixed about that, whatever. But it's going to be Pope, 100%. So the back line's pretty sturdy. This is where it gets a bit shaky. Longstaff being the 6 again hasn't looked brilliant. He has good games. Most of them tend to be when he's allowed to be up here, not when he's back here as a 6. Not when Joe Linton goes over to the side to try and make attacking moves, and we end up with some wonky double pivot of Willock Longstaff. It just doesn't work at all. It's never worked. We tried a funny 4-2-3-1 a couple of early matches with these two as a double pivot, and it was atrocious. So it does concern me slightly here, especially with Willock's tendency to try and venture off with the striker, because he is just a proper sort of ball-seeking out, driving midfielder. Miggy will do Miggy things. We like Miggy. Miggy will just press, ball recovery, never shoot with his right foot. But he does what he does. We know what we're going to expect from Miggy. But this concerns me. The drop-off in quality here, this little attacking triangle, when this is Wilson and this is Maxi, this is really dangerous as an attacking trio when they start to float up that side. But this is such a drop-off in quality. So the question is, guys, the big question is, does this happen? that is the big question. Now, if this happens, then you never know.
Just no engine, mobility, pace, threat.
Well, we suddenly have another dribbler. We have somebody for people who haven't seen, don't know exactly what Isak's like. When he first signed, we did the show on what he's like as a player. He will try and make little quick bendy runs and then get back on side. He will drop short. He will try and make space for other players to run through. That Willock and Miggy are probably going to love that, as will Maxi when he gets to play. So we've got somebody who can actually dribble with the ball, which is brilliant. So this will make the game a lot better. I'm excited to see these two actually linking up together because they're both quite physical. So some driving runs and 1-2s could be really, really tidy here. So I think we've got a lot more chance of taking points if Isak starts or plays a good amount of minutes. It's just, will he get the work permit? And just because he gets the work permit doesn't mean he starts this game, guys. Like,
no.
Howe is not known for throwing people straight in. He just doesn't do it. This could be one of those times. He's got to break his rules at some point. Like I mentioned about the back 5. I'm sure he will break that eventually for whatever reason. So I'm praying that this happens because I think this gives us a chance.
I agree.
Because I think he's a lot more of an unknown quantity to Liverpool and to the defenders and to the system.
I agree.
And I think we might be able to get a cheeky point, or you never know, even more. We might be able to disrupt it slightly because they've been very wobbly. I know they beat Bournemouth, but this is I would predict it's probably going to be Wood starting because it does depend on the work permit and on Eddie Howe not caring about integration. He mentioned in the pre-match press conference that he has trained a bit. He's done well. He mentioned he's been quite quiet, but he's been focused. He's done a bit of training with the group. Is that a code for it's not enough to start, or is that code for he's done enough to start? I'm not sure. I mean, that's just down to interpretation. It's up to you guys what you make of that. But I think it's going to be this. And the lineup we've got for Liverpool on this opposite side is the same Same as what Doug suggested. This is their lineup from the Bournemouth fixture. I think it will be much of the same. The only player they've got that is a doubt is Kelleher to come back, and he's not going to start ahead of Alisson anyway. So it's likely to be something like this, unless Tsimikas comes in at left back, possibly. But it's going to be much of the same. Maybe Carvalho gets a start. You never know, as he suggested.
Here's my take on our side. I think the injuries that we have, I think if Maxi plays, I think if Bruno we can kind of rule out. But if Maxi plays, I think he'll play Wood. But if Maxi doesn't play, I think he'll play Isak.
You think it's one or the other?
Well, I hope it'll be both, but I'm thinking there's more chance of Isak playing if Maxi doesn't, because there's threat there. Then
I think with that, if we swap it to that, that looks lovely. That's lovely.
That side.
Yeah,
if Maxi's fit, and he could well go for it because you got to threaten Liverpool at Anfield.
That being said, I understand we're not with Bruno, but we still dominated Wolves without Bruno. I am shocked. I'm still shocked we managed that. I do put it down. I put a lot of that down to Botman and Cher. I really do. Yeah. And Burn being quite tidy. I know that's not Burn, but I really do. I'm so surprised we had so much possession with the injuries and the players that were out. So you never know. They might surprise us. They really might surprise us.
I think Workman comes through. I think Isak plays.
You think Isak plays, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think about Maxi?
If he's fit, I think he plays, obviously. But I think there's more chance of Isak playing if he's not fit, because then we have threats. If Maxi is fit, then we've got threat with him. So there's kind of less urgency to play Isak. But I'd love to see them both play, obviously.
No. Any thoughts on if he might go for a back five, or do you think that's an absolute no?
No, I don't. I think there's a possibility he could, because then he doesn't have to drop down Burn, does he?
So how would you think he would line up a back five? Do you think he would do this?
I think he'd put Botman in the middle, yeah. And I think Cher would play on the right, and I think he'd do like that, exactly like that.
Who drops out if we play a back five?
I'm thinking it'd be Willock.
You think Willock could drop out?
Yeah.
And then what? It'd be
kind of like that.
You think Miggy maybe back into midfield and they do something like that?
Possibly. Let Maxi
he does often
roam.
Drop Miggy back into midfield when necessary. So
let Maxi roam if he's playing. If Fraser's playing, then
it'd either be that or that, wouldn't it? I guess. So that could be the potential alternate lineup. Or he'll play a back four with Burn as a left back. But I'd just be surprised if he does that. I really would.
I would.
It's Mo Salah. But yeah, there's the tactics screen for the. Oh, we might as well actually throw up. Where is it? Throw up Liverpool. So yeah, this is what Doug mentioned earlier. Let me zoom in so you can see. So for people who have not been following Liverpool, that's the tail end of their preseason where they lost. But start of the Premier League season, 2-2 draw with Fulham. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily a team mistake or a problem with the team performance. It was Mitrovic just really took them by surprise defensively. I don't think they did anything wrong as a whole unit. Van Dijk just couldn't handle Mitrovic for a game. And then this was the sending off, and they just had a bad day at the office. That was Nunez getting sent off, and a 1-1 from Palace. Palace are obviously very, very competent against bigger teams. You know, they took points off Man City last year as well. Mm-hmm. I know they just lost recently, but still. And then they lost to Man United. So they've had quite a poor, apart from this 9-0 Bournemouth, it's not been very pleasant reading for Liverpool fans. This was the game where Man United tried to go back to a 4-2-3-1 and change it up slightly. And Liverpool just didn't look particularly great. I think they probably did look the better of the two sides. They had 70% possession, to be fair. But this fills me with a little bit more confidence. But then the fact it's at Anfield makes it less confident. So, yeah.
And of course, Man United got a very lucky offside goal that shouldn't have been allowed. Let's be perfectly frank about things. Fulham have taken the lead against Brighton, so they're 1-up. Palace still 0-0 with Brentford. All the games on BT, by the way, if anyone's interested in that, includes tomorrow night's games. All the games are on BT Sports. Jordy Huayman makes a point here, and this is about players we've been linked with today. I like Dendoncker from Wolves, step up for Murphy and Longstaff, and he's been linked, hasn't he, Dendoncker?
He has indeed, yeah. There's a lot of people complaining about him, but
Apparently, he's a Newcastle supporter as a kid. I
Oh,
don't know
really?
if that's true or not. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not, but I've seen it put out. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are writing him off in terms of quality, but he's got like 30, 40 caps for Belgium, so he's better than people are giving him credit for. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he'll sit in as the number 6, won't he? That's his position in number 6. He can play kind of down a bit more further forward if needs be.
Yeah, potentially.
And John mentions Awar, £15 million. We're not linked with him.
We're not, but I don't know why we're not. But yeah, that's a funny one. I need to look into that. Why we're not? Well, why nobody seems to be.
Yeah, it's a strange price for a player of that quality. As he fell off the cliff,
I mean, for people who don't know who that is, that's a Lyon attacking midfielder, and he was a young wonder kid like 2 or 3 years ago who was meant to be the next best thing, and now nobody wants him, and he's worth 15 million. So very odd.
Francisco, down there in the Caribbean, says, "Hey lads, good evening to you, the chat, the mods, and Paul, wherever he is. Any good rumours, Alex? We don't do rumours here, but we have had a few links today, haven't we, mate?"
Yeah, we get links. I mean, the Dendonka one was just a random link. I don't think we've been linked with Ross Barkley. And then there was obviously the Maitland-Niles. Were they rumours? Were they links? I'd have to double check. It's not a transfer show, so I've not clarified. It's one of the two. I'm unsure. But yeah, Maitland-Niles' name has floated up a couple of times. And it logically makes sense because he could play fullback midfield, which would cover 2 positions for us.
Yeah.
It's not the most thrilling of signings, but it's somebody competent who could fill the roles. So I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. Dendonka and Maitland-Niles, those are the names that have been floating around, but we'll see.
Fulham are now 2 up against Brighton, a Lewis Duncombe goal. So Mitrovic got the first, incidentally, which will please you with your fancy.
Mitrovic has got the first. So that's 5 and 5, yeah?
I said if he got the service in the Premier League, he'd score goals.
I should have written down who in the comments was coming for me a few months ago when I said he was going to be fine and he was brilliant in the Championship and it would translate and he's peak age. I should have written your usernames down because I can't remember who you were, but he's 5 and 5. He's absolutely fine.
Ian asked the question, what's our take on Scott Parker getting the boot?
I mean, do you want to go first?
Yeah, for me, it's very premature. He's had 4 games, 3 of which he wouldn't give Bournemouth a cat and house chance of winning, and the one that he did have a chance of winning, he's won. Okay, they've got a good hiding against Man City. They've got an even bigger hiding against Liverpool. But it's way too early in the season to be 5 managers. And I understand he's been kind of outspoken about the backing he's received for players bought. But that's no reason to sack someone, surely. I wouldn't have thought so.
No, I don't think it's based on the result. I think it has a tiny bit to do with it. I mean, their run of form. They beat Villa, and then they had to play Arsenal, City, and Liverpool as the next 3 fixtures. Of course, they were never going to get points from them. They might have got a point, maybe, but it's unrealistic of any owners to expect teams to, like a newly promoted side, to be getting points against them. That's ridiculous. I think it was more about conflict of style, direction, spending. I think there was a lot more going on behind the scenes that they weren't happy with, and I think they're set. I think they're set up for Sean Dyche. To be honest, I think Sean Dyche is going to come back to the Premier League with Bournemouth. I think with the 2 strikers up top, I think the way they're set up would work with Sean Dyche potentially. I think it's
take the job, Alex. I'm not sure he'd take it. I think he's on the high.
You don't think he'd take Bournemouth? Move his family down to the south coast? No.
I mean, it's a nice place to live. I've got to say, Bournemouth's a beautiful area, but I don't know. It just seems to be on a hide nothing down there. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll know Sean Dyche has been on a hide nothing for years at Burnley, and he's probably the ideal man for the situation. But does he want that? Does he want that?
I mean, he might not want it. The problem is with the current situation is any intelligent, ambitious manager is not going to take that job if they just have to be a yes man. The only players who are going to take that are actual yes men. That's not going to be an exciting appointment for the Bournemouth fans, and they'll probably go back down.
I think Sean Dyche will be waiting for an Everton or a Villa, which both, let's be honest, the jobs that could be on the horizon very soon. Let's be honest. I think he won't. I think he'd sit back and wait personally.
Yeah, Villa's form, dearie me.
Yeah. What's his comment here? Cheeky bid for Wilfred Zaha. Yeah, there's rumours about him not being happy at Palace, isn't there?
There were rumours about Chelsea doing a cheeky bid for Zaha today. I've got no idea. There's cheeky rumours for Zaha every window for the last decade, to be honest.
The Geordie View said he would give Anderson a start and give Willock a rest. Fraser to come in if ASM isn't fully fit. The only problem with that is Anderson's left side, isn't he? And Willock's right, but I guess it's to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, Anderson's natural side would be where Joe Linton plays, and we're not moving or dropping Joe Linton unless he's going to give him a chance as a left winger, which he played for Bristol Rovers on the left wing a few times, played as a 10 or left wing. So he has played there. But left wing against Mo Salah and Trent away at Anfield in his potential first start in the Premier League, like, ooh, that's a bit harsh. I know people are just saying give him a try, but we don't want to break him.
No.
We don't want him to, like, accidentally get a red card, or we don't want him to... Yeah, we've got to make sure we we maintain his confidence and keep his mentality where it's meant to be.
Geordie Hoeman says, anybody know who the ref is tomorrow? I've not got a clue. I think I might have heard mention of Anthony Taylor.
Is it Andre? I thought it was Andre Mariner, was it not?
Might be Andre Mariner.
I could be wrong.
It's not Mike Dean anyway. That's all that matters. Yeah, also, true. Let's just go for this again. If it's kind of under 700 people watching at the moment,
it's Andre Mariner. Yeah,
Andre Mariner. Yeah. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the like button if you like what you're seeing. Also, if you're new to the channel and this is your first time with us or second time with us, please give us a subscribe. It's free to do so. It doesn't cost you a penny. But aside from that, you can also become a member of the Toon Review family. And Super Chat's also available by hitting the dollar sign. Also, we do have merchandise on sale. And this is where you go to for that, the website. But this is a little commercial for that.
So let's get down to business. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it. Let's get down to business.
So there you go. That's where you go and get your merch, your cups and your key rings and phone cases, that kind of thing. Oven Chips All Day says we're not going to change formation. This is not Steve Bruce. Too many teams are aggressive, progressive, and play on the front foot. We have changed system before, though, didn't we? We did change at Chelsea last year, so I mean there is a precedence for this.
We've changed mid-game. We've put Chris Wood on right midfield, so we do change when necessary. There's been a few situations where I can't remember what game it was. There was a specific game. Was this when Kraft was still bad? I can't remember. There was a specific substitution that he made, and the game just went absolutely tits up. It just went wrong. And I remember watching Howe on the touchline screaming at Ryan Fraser, back five, because we were getting pumped. I can't remember what the game was. Maybe somebody can remember.
Spurs away, maybe?
Maybe. That he was trying to do a specific system and there was a couple of players having a mare and he had to scream at Ryan Fraser to swap it to a back five and pass the instruction along. So we were getting annihilated. So no, we do change formation in game. Less so recently in the last 3, 4, 5 months, as we've got better personnel and we've been growing and getting used to our own system. We're happy to just stay as we are and play our game, which is great. No, I agree. I don't think we change systems very often, but it's not always a bad thing necessarily. We're not the best team in the world yet.
We say his name and he goes and scores. Crystal Palace 1, Brentford 0, Wilfred Zaha. And Brighton have put one back against Fulham and McAllister penalty there. So we're keeping you up to date with all the scores in the Premier League, which somehow wasn't intended doing, but there we go, we're doing it. Matt from Australia says, thanks to the Toon Review for my Newcastle third strip prize, which arrived yesterday, wearing it with pride here in Australia. Yeah, brilliant, Matt. That's fantastic. Really glad you've got that safe and sound and wear that strip with pride because it's a wonderful looking strip. Spacebar says he looks a wonderful player. Gordon is such a complete wank, says Jan. He must be watching. I don't know what he's done, but he is actually, isn't he? Gary says, Matt, I think I saw the picture post on Facebook. Is Lee Clark's son playing tomorrow? He came in a sub in the last game, so I'd hope we don't see him because if he does come in, it means they're doing really well and he feels he can put him on, but I hope we don't see him. Harvey Elliott has been excellent this season for Liverpool. He has been, absolutely. Andrew Johnson, evening guys. Was at the ladies' game at the weekend with my family. Had a great day. What I want to ask is, does anyone know when Castori will sell the ladies' top with a new sponsor? Interesting question. I'm not sure, mate. Honestly, don't know.
It'd be worth emailing them, to be fair. You could email them and check.
Email the club, though. Don't email Castori, because you'll be waiting next March. Mark and Danny Dawson say, hey, Billy Knights, can't see us losing till after Christmas. Oh, for Christ's sake. Can't wait to see Billy's beard.
Father Christmas beard, yeah.
I could have one, yeah. It could be quite trendy that time of the year. Paul's actually watching, and he says, glad you got your shirt, Matt. Brilliant. How long we've got? 50 minutes. So Matthew says, the thing that worries me is that even if we play a back five, none of our defenders have great leg speed. Going to have to rely on our defenders helping out big time, methinks. Yeah, that's true, actually. We haven't got a lot of pace there. However,
I don't like that comment. People keep talking about this.
However, I think Botman's got pace. He's not rapid, but he moves quickly enough. And he reads the game, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't understand these comments. The only person that's beat Botman in a recovery run since he signed is Haaland. It's the only person that's beat him in a recovery run. What do you want from these centre backs? Honestly, I'm so bored of these slow defense comments. Like, yeah, okay, they're defenders. They're not strikers. They've got different body shape, physicality, different skill sets, different. This is literally what Eddie Howe was talking about in his interview right now. Today, he was mentioning we need different players, different heights, big, small, different attributes. Some physical, some with lower center of gravity. This is just how football works. We don't all have really rapid centre backs. That's not particularly normal to have. You know, that's quite abnormal if you've got somebody who can do all of it. That's when you start getting world-class players, when they can do all of it. It's not hurt us too much. Like, none of the other options are particularly fast either. If we brought Lascelles in, he's not rapid. I don't understand these slow comments. I don't get it. I personally don't get it. Like, Matt Targett's been burned for pace a couple of times. Yeah, okay. But he's also really good at a lot of other things. Like, do we swap to Jamal Lewis, who is faster, but he can't do half the stuff Matt Targett does? We've got what we've got. We can't make them any faster. I just don't understand the comments on the speed of the defense. If people disagree with me, that's fine. Don't just shout at me. Explain your reasoning, and maybe I'll learn something, because I'm genuinely curious, because I don't think it makes as much of a difference as people say. Because, like I said, the only person that's beat Botman on a recovery run is Haaland. So I'm quite happy with that at the moment, to be fair.
Another thing that came out today was, we were talking about Alexander Isak earlier, that he actually turned down Manchester United the week before he signed for us, which was very fair. It made me laugh looking at the Man United fans' reactions to it, as if to say, no, that can't have happened. No way.
We didn't bid for him.
There's no way that happened. There's no way on God's earth anyone turns down us to go to them. And it kind of brought their self-entitlement out in the Bundes, didn't it?
Well, I mean, logically, it makes sense. They hadn't yet got the Antony deal done, and they were still trying to ship Ronaldo out. So it makes sense. The timeline-wise, it kind of makes sense. What's that? Through ball might let Salah in. Well, yeah. Okay.
He said, my thoughts are through ball might easily let Salah in, and Shah showed first goal for City. We aren't that great at keeping a good line, given the limited game time together.
I'm not sure time together is the factor.
I think that goal, the first City goal, was more down to the fact that Burn got dragged out because he had two men overlapping, and gave Silva the chance to cut it aside, and everyone got pulled over a little bit, didn't they? Which left the gap for Gundogan to run into. You know, I thought it was just really outstanding, clever play from City, to be fair.
You've got to credit the opposition as well with the quality of some of these. Like, absolutely. A lot of people were slagging off our centre backs for that goal. Was it David Silva that scored it? Not David Silva. Bernardo Silva. I'm doing a pull there. And it was, and I can't believe we were. Some people were attacking the defenders when it was clearly just De Bruyne played a world class ball. Just cut the defense apart. They will play those through balls, and they will beat Cher, and they will beat Botman. It's Liverpool. They won the Champions League a few years ago. They're one of the best teams in the world. They are going to cut us apart, even if we go and give them all new legs, they're still going to have really good chances. It's just about trying our best and trying to swat them away and attack when we can. It's just how it works.
Peter says his third kit has arrived in New Zealand today, 2 months and 6 days after he ordered it, and it fits. Yeah, good job it does. You want to send it back. Incidentally, Southampton 2, Chelsea 1's the latest score. Adam Armstrong's gives Southampton the lead, which is obviously one of ours, so great. Adam says, I hope we do win so we can see Jamie Carragher's muggy face on Sky Sports having a meltdown. You won't make this on BT Sports. What you will see is Stephen Manneman and Michael Owen possibly having a meltdown.
Well, I do have a funny about him as well. He did. I mentioned this before on a show, but it was a few weeks ago. He was arguing with Gary Neville about players. They were trying to name the Liverpool squad. I think Gary Neville was trying to name the Liverpool squad, and he said Nathaniel Phillips, and Jamie Carragher said, "Oh, he's not there anymore." He is. He is still one of their players. So Carragher doesn't even know the Liverpool squad. So.
Geordie Highwayman says, is Castori sorting Isak's work permit? That would explain a few things, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah.
Charles says hello to Carlos. Yano says, way above his level, reckon he should buy a mobile cav and do something where he can draw on his many years' experience. I know he's returning to there. And all that. This is kind of way past to go. No salad running down the wing. And Skeletor has scored for the Scouts. Malcolm's, I'm guessing he means Anthony Gordon. That's still 1-0. So, yeah, that's how far beyond I am. Let's skip a few of these. I'm sorry about this, but here we go. This is Paul's. Guys, we've changed the start time and deadline day. We go live at noon all the way through to the window closing. So, 11, 12 hours of content for you. And means we can stay in bed for a little bit and all, which is great. Not actually that great because I've got a shopping delivery coming at 8:30. So, but still, never mind. It's all good. So 12 o'clock, it's time to join us, and we're on then all the way through. Long old shift. Matthew says, I was slightly confident of a point before the 9-0 and our injuries. We are a different team now, though, so I'm not folded before the game. Let's do a bit of predictionising. What's the score going to be, Alex? It's hard to predict. We don't know what the sides are going to be, but
I've been thinking about this game for days and days and days and researching and checking, and not once have I actually considered what the scoreline's going to be. I've not even thought about it. It's a really, really tough one for a change because this is the first time in a while we've got no idea what the 11's going to be. Does he try Anderson? Does Isak get a work permit? Is Maxi fit? I don't know. I mean, are we allowed to give a scoreline based on if people are going to be fit, or are we just going to just go for it?
Well, it's only me and you here, so why not? Who's the top of the score? And do a score with Maxi and Bruno.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to go best case scenario on this. Let's pretend that we've got Maxi and Isak because it might happen. Maxi might pass his fitness test, and Isak might start. Let's be optimistic. I'm gonna hope that they both start. So Isak and Maxi are going to be in the starting 11. Fingers crossed. And we're going to give them a cheeky 2-1. It'll be 1-1 all the way up until late, and then somebody will score at the death. Isak to get the winner 2-1, and he becomes a hero immediately.
Well, you give the best case, and I'll go worst case, and I'll say I'll go with Wood and Fraser playing.
Oh no!
And if that is the case, I think it's going to be a long old night for us. I'll be perfectly honest. So best case scenario is what Alex said. Worst case scenario is a 3-0 defeat because they'll just have
no goals.
Not with Chris Wood and Ryan Fraser playing. No goals. No goals.
It's funny you mentioned no goals. I was so frustrated. I have a lot of respect for some of these journalists. Like I really love Keith Downey. I think Craig Hope is improving a lot as a journalist. I know he's a lot older than me and very experienced, so that's probably quite condescending. But that's just my opinion. I was gutted that nobody mentioned set pieces. That press conference today, we had 13 corners against Wolves with so many tall players. None of the journalists thought to ask a question about why are we not scoring from corners? And no, Chris Wood scoring against Tranmere Rovers from a corner does not count. I'm talking about Premier League set pieces from indirect free kicks and corners. We can't score, and we've got some giants in this team. And I feel like it's a question that needs to be asked to Eddie Howe in a press conference. And I'm really gutted that they've missed that because that could have been a really interesting question. I wish they'd ask more
Right.
football questions because it's football. Like, I understand people have got to have a bit of fun, and I know I'm less fun and more stats, but I want to know why we're not scoring from corners. It's really annoying. You just can't get it past the first man sometimes, and just to burn at the back post, dragging it across. I mean, Botman's gone close a couple of times, but I want to see a score from a corner. In fact, I'm going to say that first goal is going to come from a corner. We've got to get it at some point. We've got to score from a corner in the Premier League. We've had so many.
Burn seems to be the expert on mistiming headers from corners. He's mistimed every single one that's come to him. He's either jumped too early, or he's just got there just a tad too late.
Maybe he should just stand still.
That's probably the best way.
He's probably still going to be taller than whoever's jumping anyway.
Probably the best way around it. But however, if Chris Wood and Ryan Fraser and all of them are playing, I don't expect corners to be an issue because I don't think we'll get any. I'll be perfectly honest. However, we still do have Sven Botman's ball playing ability. But just lack of pace, isn't it? Miggy can't do it all on his own. So,
well, maybe we'll get a cheeky penalty. We've not had one yet. And,
Anfield.
Well, I mean, they got one at Craven Cottage, didn't they? With the Van Dijk tripping Mitrovic up. So you never know. Maybe if Miggy has a tidy run, or we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
The clues in the words Craven Cottage. Doesn't happen at Anfield. I think Virgil van Dijk could literally shoot somebody in the box and not get a penalty given against him. Foxy says, Botman wasn't my first choice for the club, but no way can you criticise him this early. Completely ridiculous. Realistically, I'll be judging him after 7 to 12 months, to be fair, everyone. And especially he's played really well so far. You know, it's kind of mad that people are criticising him when, apart from that one move where Botman went through and that the chest that he missed control but made a recovery, he's done nothing wrong, has he?
Yeah, he's been very, very solid. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like the fact that we had 64% possession against Wolves with an altered midfield with no Bruno, I think a lot of that was down to the quality of the defenders and the centre backs. That Schär and Botman can control it so well. We've been talking about this for months about how we need to sign the players and we need to change to become a slightly more dominating team. We are seeing it change in real time. We lost good players. We still smashed Wolves for possession at the Molineux. It's happening. It's changing. We had some players that we weren't happy with on the field, and we still dominated the game and arguably should have won. So it's getting there. It is getting there slowly. You never know. Maybe we'll bring another couple in by Thursday night. The transfer window ends. We'll see.
And Dressman's 123 says, would you be happy with Maitland-Niles and Bakayoko before the deadline? Bakayoko's a no. He's gone to Monza, I think, or something like that. All agent talk. Maitland-Niles is an interesting one because of his versatility. I'll take Maitland-Niles personally.
I mean, it's not my first choice, but if we get to sort of Wednesday and nothing else has moved, I want more cover, so I'd take it. Because we can't play Longstaff at right back, can we? Like, I know we've still got Trippier and a Manquillo, but still, we just need a bit of cover.
Yano says, if you want your fullbacks to get forward and support, they need the turn of speed to get back. We have an issue with lack of pace in every area, which is why we must keep Miggy. Yeah. I don't think Trippier's slow. I think over a distance, he's all right. It's just that first start, you know, the initial acceleration that he's kind of lost. But once he gets into his stride, he's fine. It's just that initial yard he's slower. And this is why I was saying about the possibility of his legs starting to wane a little bit, which kind of has angered a lot of people. Paul says he's going for 2-2, Isak and Willock. Tony Timebridge says 1-1. Time Lord 7 Boris says 2-0 defeat. Ryan from Canada says this game is chalk from the start without ASM and Bruno. This is why I went worst case scenario, more because we won't have a threatening enough attack and Liverpool attack with too much quality against our defence. However, ASM and Bruno aren't officially ruled out yet, are they? So we can't say that.
On the website SofaScore, they're both listed as doubtful, despite Eddie Howe suggesting that Bruno's not available, possibly available. I don't know.
Kendo says our B squad will smash them. I'd love it if they did. God, that would be fantastic. Some Sniper Dove says easily 1-0, snatch and grab. If we can escape with no more injuries, that will be a bonus, indeed. Botman was our best defender on Sunday. I think he was by country mile, but quite comfortably. Fox says, even if we could get comfortably beat, we shouldn't be too harsh on our lads. Looks like we'll have our best players out, so respectable Arsenal snatch a draw with a Miggy solo goal.
That's a very fair comment, yeah. We need to make sure not to pile on people because it's very possible certain players might have a bad game.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we need to panic. And it doesn't mean we need to be mean to them either.
No, absolutely not. It's a tough game at the best of times without having the best players out. Let's be perfectly frank about it.
Yeah.
Shows he's very optimistic. He thinks it could be 2-1 to us. He thinks Liverpool could be in for a shock. Possibly. Rob sees, on the other hand, though, says 3-4-0. I think worst case scenario, 2-1 defeat the best. And Kendo says Botman is due a goal. That was on says the under-21s were beaten by Doncaster. Was it Doncaster they played 4-2 on pens? Our set piece we got awful against Wolves. Couldn't beat the first man and make use of our height. Yeah, that's what we just mentioned that earlier. And surely it can't be that bad again. I just kind of hope we get set pieces to correct it with, which may not happen. But there you go. Botman the Beast will shine tomorrow. I think he will. I think this is a game set out for Botman. I think for me now, I think he's an ideal man for Botman to mark, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's technical. He's very clever and very technical, but I think the pace and the physicality suits Botman. I think he'll be able to match up quite well. Yeah, I think even recovery runs positionally wise, marking Salah and stuff on that left side as he's cutting in. I'm excited to watch Botman. I know I'm not scared anymore. I used to be scared for our centre back pairings and who was going to play. And even if we lose, I've changed now. I'm excited to watch our centre backs play because it's interesting positionally what they do, and yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them try their best against one of the best attacks in the world. Let's be honest.
Tony Sonbridge is a fantastic comment. Ryan Fraser will bang a header in tomorrow from a corner. You watch.
No, I hope so. if Ryan Fraser scores a header tomorrow, he gets a 10 from me, 100%.
Yeah, I think we'll all give him 10 if he scores a header. The cross will have to be about 2 foot off the ground for him to do it, though, wouldn't it? So, if Botman Thomas had a little better, he would have scored against Wolves. That's true. I truly believe we need a set piece coach. Most of the big clubs have one. We may have one. I'm not sure if we have or not.
No, I haven't checked. I'll have to dig into.
Warren says, you're right, Alex. All has asked his mentality transfers and expectations. Yes. Lascelles is the biggest threat from corners. Yeah, that's one thing he's good at, isn't he, Lascelles?
Yeah. He is very, very tidy from set pieces, actually. He likes a few goals a season, doesn't he?
That's not to say we need to get him in, though.
Yeah.
Not. James says, agree, mate. The 2 home games I've been to, I noticed that they play it short from corners more times now. And it drives me crazy. Whip it into a tall man and see what happens.
I'm not saying short corners are bad. Short corners can be fine if worked correctly. They're just not being worked correctly.
Occasionally, I agree.
There's a lot of people out there who are very much purists with corners, and whenever any corners play short, they just lose their rag. I don't get it. Short corners can work for changing the angle, but ours don't. We don't seem to be getting a normal corner or a short corner right. So I've got issue with both at the moment.
Wacky Angler says it's probably a scout that's overseeing Isaac's work permit at home office.
Bloody is, isn't it?
There's a joke there, but I'm not going to say it. Gallagher says, yeah, when we are defending him, 3-0 Paul if Wood, Fraser, Longstaff played 2-2 if we're at full strength. I think if we're at full strength, I think we can win the game. I do, honestly, but we're not going to be. So Fraser needs to stand on Burns' shoulders for corners. Botman has been brilliant. Love his passion. Who's the basket case having a dig at Botman? Been quite a few on Twitter.
Yeah, there are a lot actually.
Simon something his name is. The one I saw, Simon.
Oh, we outed him. I screenshotted that guy. I remember. Just to keep an eye on just whoever goes.
I can't remember what his surname is, but I do remember it. I'm not saying it. But there was a film, something Drive. Remember that film many years ago? Mulholland Drive. There you go. DJ Floats, evening or late arrival, so watching from the start. So thought I'd say hello and hope everyone is well. Hi, mate. Hope you're well too. I think he was being sarcastic. I don't think he was being honest. I don't think he's been perfectly you know, I
I've
think
had some
maybe
funny ones. There was a guy earlier who said, I'm 90% sure this wasn't sarcasm either. Says I'd give the transfer window a 2 out of 2. Signed a keeper but lost one. Signed a centre back when we already have loads. And I'm not even going to read the rest because it's just ridiculous.
Kendall says, "Thank God for the death of Brucey Ball." Indeed, them
No,
days
not
are well
for
gone.
Brom fans.
No, Tony Tombridge says you'd only want Maitland Knowles on a loan, possibly. Vieira is doing some job at Palace. Says Stiffgate is very impressive. Meanwhile, media darlings Gerrard and Lampard are in the mud. They are, aren't they?
Vieira's doing a very good job. Palace look like a very well structured team, very well balanced.
James asks, you guys doing an all-day stream on Thursday? We start at midday and we'll go through to 11 o'clock at the earliest, I guess, because that's when the window shuts. But there's always deals that kind of take a 10, 15, half an hour. So it'll probably be half 11-ish, midnight-ish before we finish.
Yeah, we'll have loads. We'll have all 4 of us. Me, Billy, Paul, Danielle. We've got guests. We've got Rob. We've got Adam P. We've got other guests. We'll bring some of you guys on. We've got surprises. Loads of stuff going on.
We have indeed. It's going to be a special day. Botman is still only 22 years old. He is. People forget his age. And it's kind of testament to him that people do forget his age because he looks a seasoned campaigner, isn't he?
Yeah, he's still super young.
David Greenwell says, "Go on."
Well, that was the whole point in trying to bring the average age down of our defensive line. I mean, even Pope's still in his 30s, so we've not done great there. He's not a long-term solution, even as brilliant as he is. We're not going to have him in 5 years, are we? So we're going to have to change him in 3 to 4 potentially because he's not super young. But Botman is somebody that we haven't got to think about in 3 to 4 years. He should still be good enough in 10, hopefully.
David Greenwell gives a nice scenario here. Bob Moncur will hand over his last captain to win a trophy armband to Botman, who will have a statue in the Toon one day. That'd
be nice.
A day way in the future, but could happen. Ches says, "Good night, all my eyelids are going the way of Everton," which is obviously downwards. And Gary says, "Yes, we're from 12. Isak is fast as F. He is very quick. 12 to 11, possibly a bit longer. We look similar, Alex. Are you my long-lost brother?" He's got a beard, basically.
Yeah, we're the same person. Just need a beard.
Well, Kanka's position is great, but it's lacking end product that's an issue. Early balls into box for Wood to head, and he might score more. I wouldn't expect him to get many crosses to his head on Wednesday. Let's be perfectly honest. I don't think he'll play. If the work permit comes through, I do honestly think that Isaac will play. Vieira has transformed Palace. Yes, he has, from where Hodgson had them, stale and going nowhere, really. Everyone saying good night to Ches. We've come to the end of the show.
I do have one thing to say. Today marks the anniversary of when we sacked Bobby Robson all those years ago as well. So it's a sad day. So that was a dumb decision, and we got Graham Souness in. And I don't know if Doug's still watching, possibly not. But to everybody in chat who also thought that he sounded a little bit like Graham Souness, I thought he did. It was very creepy. Definitely sounds a little bit like Graham Souness.
Yeah, we confounded that mistake of sacking Sir Bobby by paying Blackburn compensation for manager they were about to sack. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And player power, unfortunately, won the day at Newcastle in them days. Yeah. And it wasn't the usual. It wasn't all the usual suspects. I mean, Mr. Shearer had a little bit of a bee in his bonnet about not being selected for the Villa game, and Patrick Kluivert taking his place. So, lots of people were kind of in the chairman, not happy with what was going on, and a few fans, as we said, also. So, yeah, we reap what we sow there. Unfortunately, Skiff Gators. This is a strange thing. I said this the other week and got mocked for it. I would love to see Trippier played as a holding midfielder one of these days, especially as he gets older. I really feel he could do a job there. Do you know what? So do I, Stiff Gators. What do you reckon, Alex?
What, Bruno and Trippier in a double pivot?
What do you reckon? No, I think he could do it. He's a great pass with the ball.
He probably could, yeah. I mean,
lots of players have done it before. Barry Venison did it.
I wouldn't want to try it against Liverpool at Anfield, but I think there is a world in which that works as a double pivot. I'm not sure. I mean, he wins a lot of his aerial duels, but the type of aerial duels you're going to be put up against in a fullback space versus a midfield space are going to be very different. You're going to be up against different heights and different physicalities. It might work. It could be a very interesting shout, actually, to be fair. If Shelvey comes back and has got his lean, slender look still, you never know. We could have one of the most filthy passing double pivots in the Prem with Bruno and Jolinton playing further up somewhere. I don't know. It could be hilarious. Maybe try it in a cup game. Shelvey when Trippier is in a double pivot and just played Hollywood passes all 90 minutes. It'd be hilarious.
It's not a new thing. As I say, Keegan did it with Venison. I was going to say Phil Neville then, but he was shit at fullback, on it? CDM. So I don't got bother with that. Gary thinks 1-1. Foxy says he'll be happy with a couple of extra bodies in like Barkley and Maitland-Niles just to help us through this mini injury crisis. They would never have been on my original list, but things change. That's quite right.
True. I agree with that.
Adam Simpson saying 2-1 with a Chris Wood header as the winner. Yano says Kraft is quicker than Target and Trippier, and he's not quick by any means.
Yeah, that's true.
Wacky Angler says, I got impression from Eddie's press conference that ASM won't play until the Palace game, same with Bruno.
See, I didn't get that impression. I got mixed impressions. I don't understand what he was on about because he said the same thing in 3 different ways, and I just don't know.
Eden's very confident. He says 3-1 Toon and a Willock hat-trick.
Oh, wow.
Get yourself down the bookies, mate.
I mean, he's due a goal, to be fair. He keeps poking him really bloody close, doesn't he? Willock is definitely due a goal at some point soon. He's got to score. He
was too precise with that one on Sunday. See, if he'd have blasted it near the corner, it scored. But he tried to be precise, a little dinky, little cool finish, a little finesse shot, let's say, into the bottom right. And Francisco says he'll go 1-0 to the Toon with a long-distance goal, Charlotte, towards the end. Wouldn't that be
God, we've already got about 3 goal of the month contenders. We can't have another one, surely.
And Ben says, imagine a 1-0 smash and grab to the Toon. Wood late goal off his thigh. Imagine. We've come to the end. Anyway, hang on, let's just see this first. Neil says, according to Sky Sports Italy, Bakayoko wants to end contract tomorrow to come to Newcastle.
Really?
I don't think so. I'd be very kind of wary of that kind of thing. Stock, I live in Canada and I'm a lifelong Toon supporter. My neighbour is a Scouser. We don't talk on game days. I have a feeling we will win this one 2-1. And if we do win 2-1, Stock, give your neighbour some help. Tomorrow's definition, if we don't demand a team that wins, we demand a team that tries against Liverpool at Anfield with our best players injured. That's a good place to end it, actually. I agree with that. Let's just put the effort in. Let's see where it takes us.
Apparently Pickford made a mistake or should have done better.
Yeah, Leeds have equalised, Sinistera, and also Brentford have equalised in the 88th. Wissa. So some late goals going in the Premier League. We've come to the end of our show tonight. Tomorrow night is the watch along, of course. Paul will be back for that after his trips through the jungle and the outback and being attacked by all kinds of animals, from deers to giraffes to mice to chihuahuas.
Well, apparently we've got Jack Harrison's right leg now. So do you remember how we bid for Maddison and Brendan Rodgers said it would only be enough for his left leg?
Right.
Well, upon being quizzed about Jack Harrison, the Leeds chief executive, Angus Gunner, Kinnear, sorry. This is Keith Downey's who's done this. So we've rebuffed numerous offers for players, including one that, based on its value, was only for Jack Harrison's right leg. So obviously that's a bit of cheeky banter about our bid specifically because of Maddison and the left leg. So we've nearly got a complete player. We've got James Maddison's left leg and Jack Harrison's right leg. We can nearly build the player.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they're both the wrong legs, aren't they? Jack Harrison's left leg.
Yeah, that's true.
We want the other ones, and then we'll be happy with that. We'll come to the end of this show anyway. As I say, watch along tomorrow night, which will start 7 o'clock, 7:30. I'm not sure what time exactly, but if you check on the channel, you'll find that out. Go and visit Doug's channel as well. Links, I think, might be in the description. Not sure if Paul's done that or not. But yeah, go and see Doug at his channel. Fantastic Liverpool content if you're interested in that kind of thing. We'll be with you after the game tomorrow and possibly at half-time. I think Alex is actually paying a trip up to Coventry to watch the match with me tomorrow. So we could be together for the stream tomorrow night. And before that, obviously, you've got the watch along with Paul. As I say, he'll be beginning you with tales of woes and attacks by animals of all kinds of shapes and sizes. Well worth waiting for that. So until we do see you tomorrow night, have a great night. Away the lads and lasses.